Well, it all started with a scratchy throat. I had felt something tickling my tonsil. So this had been going on for about a week. When I couldn't stand it anymore, I opened my mouth and I noticed there was a little tonsil stone in there. So I had gotten tonsil stones in the past. I didn't think really anything of them. They had gone away on their own. However, this one just was not going away. So I went in with tweezers and decided to do a little surgery on myself. After about 3 or 4 days, something developed on the base of my tongue. It looked like a little baby finger. I didn't know what it was, and I was petrified because I was having trouble breathing, eating food would get caught up on it, and speaking. All this happened right after COVID hit. So I was a wreck. Everything was shut down. My emergency medical center, not far from here, was actually open. I went in and they took one look at me, and the nurse practitioner said, "That looks like a papilloma." And I didn't know what a papilloma was. So I was like, okay. And she said, "We need to get you to an ENT pronto." And that concerned me. So she said, "Call this number. I highly recommend this guy. Call this number. If they can't get you in right away, tell them to call me." And she gave me her number. But they were able to get me in right away. I went in and they said, "Yep, we need to do a tonsillectomy." So I said, okay. Not thinking a thing of it. I think I'm just, okay, it's a tonsil thing. I need to go have a tonsillectomy done. They took both my tonsils at the same time. I went back for my follow-up to get my doctor's note to be able to go back to work. I was a security guard at the time, and I was an essential worker, so I was allowed to work. But they told me, "I think you need to have a seat." So I sat down, and the ENT came in, ENT doctor, and he looked me in the eyes and he said, "You have cancer." And at that moment, time stood still. It was tonsil cancer, and it was an HPV positive, so it was human papilloma virus. I was in shock. I remember falling out of my chair and the doctor pushing me back onto my chair. I'm in there alone. My husband's waiting in the car because it's COVID. How am I going to tell my husband that I have cancer? This was a fast-growing cancer. I needed to get it taken care of. So as I'm walking to the park, he gave me all this paperwork. It's still kind of foggy what went on while I was there, but I remember walking across the parking lot to my husband, waiting for me in the car, thinking, how do I do this? Do I wait till he drives me home, because we were about an hour and a half away, or do I tell him right away? Well, I couldn't hold it in. I told him right away, and we cried and we prayed in the car, and he held me and he said, "We're going to get through this. Don't worry. God's going to get you through this. He's going to heal you. Just have faith. Let's get home. We're going to discuss what we need to do." So I went and I saw an oncologist shortly after. He was my hero. Christian man, wonderful family man. Just so happens his brother was going through the exact same type of cancer that I had at the exact same time. So he told me, he said, "You know what? You're young and you're fit, you're healthy. You got a strong heart. Everything looks good. I'm a runner." So he said, "We're going to give you 33 radiation treatments." And I had a lot of church family that was praying for me. And I couldn't have done this without the support of my family, my friends, my husband, and my God. There's just no way. I couldn't have done it. And I believe it was a trial, but I believe it was more challenging for my husband. I think he suffered worse than I did, honestly. But anyway, everything I put in my mouth, whether it was wet or not, would dry up immediately. I went through more bouts of thrush than I can count. It was constant thrush. and I just had so much trouble. I mean, the nights were terrible. It was hard. I had to put my mattress on the floor so that I could just crawl to the bathroom. I was sick. It was awful. But the thing that scared me the most was I was really having trouble breathing. I was really having trouble eating, and I needed to eat. They said you need to keep your weight on. So I remember speaking with my older sister, Diane, and just asking her for any advice. She knows a lot. She was a medical assistant for years. She was telling me to do speech therapy. And I'm like, speech therapy? I'm like, well, isn't that just for talking? But I am so glad. That was the best advice I had when I was going through my cancer. It helped me breathe better. It helped me eat. I was able to eat and keep stuff down. Just because I was working my throat muscles with this speech therapy, and I was working my tongue, and everything was moving better, and everything was opening up back there. I could breathe better. I couldn't believe it. And it was speech therapy, and I was diligent. I did it. I found a great YouTube channel of this woman who does speech therapy, and I did it 3 hours a day. I'd do an hour and a half in the morning and an hour and a half in the evening. And I did it every day for months. And that was the only thing that was really helping me breathe, eat, and talk. So obviously my singing voice isn't all the way back yet. I'm working on that now. So hopefully my vocal cords will get back in better shape and I'll be able to do that. But it was such a trial. And now I'm back to music, and I'm feeling better enough to play music, and I'm writing and I'm trying to sing, and it's still a bit of a challenge for me to sing, but hopefully one day, with a lot of prayer and a lot of working out my voice, I'll get back there someday. That's my story with the throat cancer, but I'm all clear now, and I do believe that I'm going to be completely healed, and the cancer will not come back. So I'm trusting in God for that, and I'm just grateful to be alive. Okay, so I don't want to talk politics really. This guy is getting rung through the ringer over and over again, and you cannot keep this man down. He's a fighter. And I thought, I need to contribute in some way or another. So I had already had the strange thing is I already had the music written. This music was written years ago, but I'm a rocker, so I like the heavier side. I like to play even Southern rock. I like Southern rock and stuff like that. But I thought, you know what? The lyrics never really seemed to fit the music that I was writing. So I sat down that day, the day of the first assassination attempt, and thought, I'm going to write a song for this man. He really inspires me to fight, and basically what I'm fighting for is freedom. Future plans for music. Well, I do have some more songs in the mix right now. I'm working on a few of them. One's a rockier one. One is more Christian contemporary, and I do have another country song I'm working on right now. But yeah, and I'm working on my vocals, so let's see what happens there. I would love it if I could just have a band, but right now I'm still playing all the instruments myself. I mean, I am available, so I would love to either join a band or have people join me. Either way, it doesn't matter. I just love music, and I love the freedom to say whatever I want in my songs. We're Americans. We need to stick together and not be divided, and make America great again, and make sure you vote. Don't forget to vote. That's important. So anyway, is there anything else you want to know? Oh my goodness, the video. Okay, wow, it was like 100 degrees outside. And my cameraman was like, well, we gotta go do this now. We gotta get this video taken care of now. Oh, I was pouring sweat. And it was interesting because I didn't have the music except in my earbuds. So here I am walking around Port Charlotte with earbuds in and lip syncing. I was lip syncing and air guitaring. Well, actually, it wasn't air guitaring because I had my guitar in my hand, but I was just playing along, and people were looking at me, and I felt goofy, but you know what? I didn't care. I was sweating, and we did it over and over again, and I was exhausted by the time we were done. But we had a lot of fun. I mean, I got to hang out at this park by my neighborhood, and I got to play on the swings. I got to play on those silly little animals and just have a lot of fun, and really I got to talk with people that were they were freedom loving Floridians. But yes, it was really hot out, and I had black on, and my black hat, my black boots, my knee highs. I was really hot. Yes, so it was a very hot day. That's what I have to say about the video, but it was a lot of fun, and it was completely worth it. At the end of the day, I felt satisfied, and the production went swimmingly, and everything was great. It's done, and now I get to sit in air conditioning.